Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Yes, we are live because we got to react to Chicago Bears OTAs Day 2. Drop a "you're in the building," drop a "Bardan" in the chat. Make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Oh, did it not? Oh, that hit the wrong thing. There you go.
Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button. Yeah, come on, push the button. You heard what she said.
You heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Camp it's OTAs, right? Everybody's going to come out here. Oh, we got great video. We got great. It was OTAs, right? There's not a ton that I'm sitting here looking at OTAs and going, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that I've ever seen in my life. But there were certain things that I did think stood out today that were very different from what we saw in the Matt Eberflus era. Very different from what we saw in the era of the Chicago Bears. I'll say even the Matt Nagy era, right? We saw a head coach today be very upfront, be very forward. We saw a head coach get ahead of some of the issues that have plagued his young quarterback. We also got to find out a little bit more about the Luther Burden situation. Luther Burden was not out there today, so we'll talk about that. Jaquan Brisker was out there today, so we got to talk about that as well. All that more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze, man. Like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's start it off with this. Ben Johnson's different, dog. That's the start. Ben Johnson is different. I'll start it off from practice, the conversation around practice. The big thing that everyone has brought up has been what? Oh my goodness. The Bears need the accountability. The Bears need somebody to go out there and call them out. That happened today. We saw that happen in spades today. We saw Ben Johnson go out there and call out a player that, I'm not going to lie to you, has anybody ever heard about Cole Kmet getting yelled at? Like, ever? I've never heard about Cole Kmet getting yelled at. And Cole Kmet was the one that got the ire from Ben Johnson. And listen, I don't know if it's rightfully so or not. I don't know the situation. I don't know if Cole Kmet was completely lined up the wrong way, but he did something that Ben Johnson was not a fan of. And because of that, right, you saw Ben Johnson get all over Cole Kmet very, very early. Fine. It is what it is. Like, Cole got back in the huddle. The takeaway from that moment is that Ben Johnson, from the very beginning, is walking out there, and this is not after a play is run. This is before a play is run. They're lining up for the play. Boop. God, you know what? Do it again. Get in the huddle. There was a point where they were getting ready to line up just to line back up. Do it again. They're lining back up. No, get in the huddle. All right, we get in the huddle. We're going to recall the play. We're going to get it. All right, here we go. We're back out there. That's different. Mistakes happening in the moment. And the Chicago Bears going out there and saying, listen, this is unacceptable in this moment. We need to be better in this moment. You're not going to run this play again. We're going to do this all from the start because these are the moments that we need to be good in. That was a great takeaway for me from the Cole Kmet situation. I mean, again, I'm not sitting here telling you or losing my mind one way or another on the fact that the Chicago Bears, one of the coaches yelled at the players, right? I'm not sitting here losing my mind on day 2 of OTAs in one way or another. But what I will say is it was different. Something else that I thought was very, very different in what we saw today from Ben Johnson than from the coaching that we saw previously in the building. And hit that like button to subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button if you agree on this. Ben Johnson went into the press conference and was looking to get ahead of the Caleb Williams conversation, but did not shy away from the Caleb Williams conversation on him going out there and dealing with some of the, I didn't want to be in Chicago. Now he wants to be in Chicago. Now he's here. Now he's. Ben Johnson walked out, says his opening statement, and then proceeds to go into, and by the way, I've heard that my quarterback has been in the news. Here's why this does not matter. Here's why these are not problems that we're having today. Here's why I have faith in Caleb Williams. And goes on to lay out all of those different scenarios there. I love that for a couple of different reasons. I know some Bears fans say, why didn't you have Caleb Williams speak? Why don't you have Caleb Williams get ahead of the situation? Why don't you have Caleb Williams go out there and talk and kind of deaden this now early on? Caleb Williams has to deal with learning a brand new system, has to deal with learning brand new footwork in that system, has to deal with learning a brand new playbook, has to deal with learning all the communication and different things, dealing with the coaches. He's got a lot on his plate right now as the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears. And I watched my head coach go out there and not only defend his player, not only protect his player, but I watched my head coach go out there. And yes, I am saying my head coach with Ben Johnson because that's how excited I am about this. That's how different this is. I watched my head coach go out there and say, this is not something that we're worried about keeping internal. I want to put this on Front Street before y'all even ask me a question. I'm putting this on Front Street before y'all even ask me a question. And I'm giving you the answers that you were looking for. And after that, right, there were subsequent questions asked to Ben Johnson about some of the issues that may have popped up or some of the things that could have been taken away from the article. And I love Ben Johnson just going, yeah, we've talked about it. And listen, we've talked about some of the things that were said and talked about the article. But, it is what it is. We're moving on. I love that. I love that from a head coach. You don't send your quarterback out there to take daggers. You don't send your quarterback out there to die, especially in situations where it's a no-win situation for Caleb. And I don't think people are out here really. There's some people, I'm not going to lie to you. There's some people that are going at Caleb or are blaming Caleb. And I think that's stupid to me. Like you want to blame him for no reason. The article clearly goes on to say in the pre-draft process, he wanted to come here after going and meeting with the team. Like, I don't care. Like, if you want to be mad about that, be mad about that. That's your own prerogative. But why send my quarterback out there to take unnecessary questions, unnecessary moments, unnecessary daggers when we don't need him in this moment? I need him focused on the job at hand. I thought that those were two very, very different things that we got to see out of Ben Johnson today. And to me, dog, the takeaway from practice, and I know you guys don't get to see this, but today was a 2-hour practice. I shouldn't say it was a 2 hour. It was just under 2 hours, probably just under 2 hours, probably about an hour and a half practice. But normally on an OTA practice, we go out there, where we see the stretching, we see a couple of the warm-up throws, which is usually what I end up posting throughout the day and stuff like that and dropping in the Discord. By the way, if you haven't joined the Discord, please join the Discord. We got a bunch of people in there already, and I usually drop all of the clips in there initially. But you've got I see. Hold on. Give it a sec, because we do have over 100 in the chat. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. But the normally during a practice, right, you go through, you see the warm-up stretches, you see the team go through some of the drills and different things like that. They say put the cameras down. You get to watch about one period. Practice is over. OTAs. That's what it has been the last 3 years. That's what it was the final year when I was here with Nagy. Like that's what it normally is. And yet today, we get to the special teams drill, and that's usually when we start packing up. and I saw 20 minutes pop up on the clock, and I saw every media member in that room go, huh? We're running real practices. We're practicing like a real football team. We're doing things that good football teams do. We're not shying away early on as we're getting the process of this worked out. Oh, it's just OTAs. It's not an important time. It's just OTAs. We're just working through some things. No, we're out here and we're practicing. No, if we're on this field, and remember Dan Campbell said this last year, and this is the one thing that I hoped that Ben Johnson brought with him. Remember Dan Campbell said this last year. If we're on this field, we only get a select amount of time to work with you. So let's work. Let's not have wasted days. Let's not have wasted moments. Let's not have wasted practices. I don't even know if the players were the one wasting practices last year. But just about every single OTA practice, just about every single, I'll throw mini camp practice, I'll throw training camp practice out there, felt wasted. Felt like it was a waste of our time to go up there and watch it because you left there going, you didn't work on anything. It didn't feel like you were getting anything accomplished. Didn't feel like you were getting anything done. And I see some of y'all asking about the Discord link. I'll get that posted up in here, and then I'll pin it to the top of the chat. This felt like on the second day of OTAs, hey, we're working with a purpose. We're out here to get something accomplished. We're out here to get something done. We're out here to actually get better today. And maybe that's just right, like me being excited because it's a brand new coach, right? We go through all of this. We go through the emotions. Brand new coach. You're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You're going to give him a little bit more leeway, right? It's early on, but I can guarantee y'all this. I've been here for the last two coaches. They ain't held an OTA practice like this. I'll be honest with you. Today's OTA practice. And again, you can't take a ton away from the OTAs. You can't sit here and say, you know, I'm not the guy that's going to go through every single throw of Caleb Williams. I'm not. I apologize to y'all. I'm not the guy that's going to go through every single throw of Caleb Williams on day one. I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and go through every rep that Caleb had. There were ups, there were downs. There was some beautiful deep ball that he threw to Rome Odunze. Rome ended up dropping it. There was a pass that I thought he should have thrown a better ball to Rome on the sideline. Rome ended up catching that one. Right? There's a bunch of different moments there. But I can tell you this for a fact. That practice that we just watched Ben Johnson have was a better practice than any, dare I say, training camp practice that I watched Matt Eberflus have in year 2 and year 3 when he actually had talent. Oop, I pinned the wrong message there. I'm trying to do too much. Then I saw Matt Eberflus have in year 2 or year 3 when he actually had talent. Better than any practice that I saw Matt Nagy hold. Because it felt like you actually were getting something done. Now, I agree with Silver Harvest. OTAs are OTAs. But setting the tone early often lays the groundwork for your regime. That was the goal of today. That was the goal of today. And it felt like that throughout the entire practice. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Mario Moore said, hey, Pat, what UK prison you filming from? I'm at mom's crib. You know what I mean? We do got the trap window. Hey, got the trap window back. Yeah, I mean, this is technically my old bedroom, but it didn't have the green wall here. I don't know what this is, a little accent piece. But yeah, man. Steve, I'll say, I knew you dropped the Discord link. LOL. I'm like, who these? Hey, Steve-O, we expanding, bro. We expanding the family. We expanding the family. Pat, you trying to get that free meal. Yeah. Yeah. She cooking right now. I can smell it. Drop your questions in here if you have any questions, by the way. I'll try and answer any question. Steve-O, you wild. You wild. I'll try to answer any of you guys' questions as well. We do want to get to some things that I thought were interesting today. Luther Burden, of course, is one of the topics at hand. He's dealing with a soft tissue injury. I don't know if this is from the rookie minicamp issue that ended up popping up, right? Remember when he went down? I felt like he landed on the football on that. I didn't think that was a soft tissue issue. I thought he just got the wind knocked out of him. He was out there the next day. He was moving a little gingerly, but I didn't think it was anything. So you landed on a football. It hurts. Remember, there is entire phase 2 that none of the media got to see. There was an entire phase 2 that none of the, nobody got to film on all of that. And so, except for the Bears, so we saw the pieces that we saw. So I think that, you have to take that into account as well. That this soft tissue injury could have popped up at any of those times. I don't know if this goes back to that rookie minicamp, but it was a little bit alarming when Ben Johnson said, not sure just yet when we'll be getting him back, because that's kind of like, okay, so like this is not a short-term thing. I would hope that you're not at training camp and this is a problem, but right, he may not be back for play one of round one of mini camp here. He may not be back for OTAs, number 2, right? Like when exactly are you going to be getting him back? But, and I think Bears fans, the injury sucks. He's your second round pick, I should say. You want to see him back on the field. The thing that I think Bears fans should take away from that, though, is not to say you don't want to see him, but it didn't feel like you missed him. And what I mean by that is DJ Moore made a nice play over the middle, boom, down the sideline, running down to the end zone. Now, did slow up a little bit at the end. You got to run that ball through, got that ball punched out. I don't think that's going to be a problem for DJ Moore during the season. Roma Dunze made a nice catch. Devin Duvernay made a couple of nice plays. Olamide Zaccheaus made a couple of nice plays. So those guys were, and both of those guys were working from the slot out there, right? The weaponry was felt today. The weaponry for the Chicago Bears was felt today. Now, there were moments where Caleb Williams, missed a couple of passes. I thought that he was late getting the ball out in 7-on-7 a couple of times, but this is the beginning process, and that's why Ben Johnson was out there flipping out. That's why Ben Johnson was out there. And I do want to say this as well, because I think a lot of people have reported the Ben Johnson blow up like he was out there yelling all day. Most of the day, you couldn't find Ben Johnson. Legitimately, most of the practice we spend going, where is Ben Johnson? Where's Ben at? I can't even see him out there. You're sitting there trying to find him more times than not. Like that's how little he's blowing up. But when he does blow up, you take notice of it. When he does blow up, you sit there and go, oh, who's getting called out right now? Same thing with Eric Bieniemy. I think people are thinking that Eric Bieniemy is just sitting out here screaming at these guys 24/7. No. He's calling them out when they make mistakes. You fix the mistake. Then you want to know what the Bears did? The Bears went out there. He yelled at Cole Kmet. He said, run the play again. The Bears tried to line it up again. He said, get back in the huddle. They go back in the huddle. They ran the play. They complete a tight window pass to DJ Moore. DJ Moore takes it down the field. That's how you work. That's how you work. That's what was exciting about it. And that's what I loved about that. That was one of my big takeaways from practice today. Something else that we saw from practice today that I thought was interesting was Case Keenum getting first reps with the second team. Now, I don't know if there is going to be change of and I don't expect there to be a change of the second quarterback, the second string quarterback here. I still assume it's going to be Tyson Bagent, because after that Tyson was rotating in with the second team as well. I think they need to get Case Keenum up to speed because of the article that we saw where it said he had nobody to watch film with. You want your quarterback to sit out there and watch film with somebody. It's probably going to be another quarterback in the room who knows how to watch film. So you want to get Case Keenum caught up with this system. That's all that I thought that situation was there. Keenum had similar moments as well, dropping back. Something didn't go right. There was a lot of mental mistakes. Ben Johnson talked about that. There was a lot of mental mistakes today. And he dropped back. He threw a pass. And I think the wrong route was ran, and the receiver tried to recover and get to it. Ends up slamming his towel down, and he was upset because he made a mistake as well. There's a lot of mental errors that are happening right now. And guess what? Week 2 of OTAs, the second day of install, there's going to be mental errors. There's supposed to be mental errors. Remember Ben Johnson? We all remember this, right? Hold on. Let me, just in case anybody forgot. We all remember Mr. It's going to be fun. We remember that, right? Did you think that this is not what he meant when he said it wasn't going to be easy? This is exactly what he meant when he said it's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. They're going to go through these growing pains. And I'm excited to see them get through the growing pains. I'm excited to see how they work through them, because Ben Johnson is calling out the growing pains immediately, and he's not letting them linger there. Some of the other things, just now listen. Y'all hear me on this. This is my meathead moment of the day. And every OTA practice, there will be some meathead takeaways, right? This is not Pat from ESPN. This is not Pat the reporter. I'm not really a reporter, so I don't know how I turned into that. But this is not Pat the analyst. This is Pat the Bears fan. Big Bardon. Drop a Bardon in the chat. This is Bear fan Pat. There's a moment today. Couple of meathead moments, but the one that's number one for me, there's a moment today. Caleb Williams going through his running back drill, hands it off to Swift. They go through everybody else, but there's one running back extra for the quarterback. That one running back, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Monangai. And guess who was handing him that football? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Quarterback number one, Caleb Williams. I saw that. They did it like 3-4 times the same way every time. Now, it probably was just a numbers game, but I'm not sitting here talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that Kyle Monangai was getting the football from Caleb Williams along with DeAndre Swift. I'm sitting there going, hey, now, hold on now. I like that. I can get used to seeing that. I'm a big Monangai. Are you a Monangai? I'm a big Monangai. I'm just saying. The other meathead moment for me was I saw a couple people asking about the Caleb Williams deep ball. There was a pass where Caleb dropped back. This was an 11-on-11 period. Throws a beautiful deep ball and just pushes it down the field. Read it perfectly. I believe it was to Roma Dunze. Should have been a walk-in touchdown. Just bounced clean off of Rome's hands. Got to catch that. Rome made a ton of great catches after that. I think that was the one drop he had all practice. But the deep ball accuracy was so on point. That was a big question that we had, that we still have coming into this season. That was a big question that we still have coming into this season. What is Caleb Williams' deep ball accuracy going to look like? Seeing Caleb Williams, at least on that pass, it was the one time we really saw him push it down the field. I thought that was a gorgeous pass. His best pass of the day probably is that DJ Moore pass, and that was one that I thought was just a beautiful dot, tight window throw it between two DBs, fit it in. Those are the passes that you talk about him being the number one guy out there. Finishing it out from my takeaways, and then we get to some of you guys' questions in here. So drop some questions in here. The Brisker being back on the field was just good to see. This is one of those. I don't know if he's here next year. I don't know if he makes the team. I don't next year, or if they go in a different direction. But it was just good to see Jaquan Brisker back on the field. looked comfortable, moved well. I dropped a video on Twitter of all of this stuff. All the videos are also in the Discord. Hit the Discord link and join up in there if you want to. But it was just, it was a great feeling to see Jaquan Brisker back on the field. And I hope that he has a healthy season. I hope that the concussions are cut down. I hope that he's able to go out there and ball out this season and earn a contract that keeps him here in Chicago, because that's the kind of player that you want on your team. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do if you have not done so. Let's see. First question from Relentless Mikey. Are you a Manung guy? I am a Manung guy. I liked what I saw the Cal Manung guy. When is the first padded practice? I don't know how they're going to line those up. We won't know those until training camp. But I don't know how or when they're going to line those up. So I have no idea. Once we know the answer, we'll let you guys know. We don't even know the news on, when the third training camp, or I'm sorry, the third OTA as of yet is. So technically there are 3 OTAs. We got the schedule down for 2 of them and rookie mini camp. A lot of teams usually cancel that third OTA, but we don't know if that's with a new system. You don't know if Ben Johnson is going to do that. Tell me about the D-line. Defensive line looks good. Shamar Turner, the rookie, had one really good snap where I don't know what happened on the offensive line. It just seemed like they lost Shamar Turner, and it was a turnaround handoff to Kyle Manungai. Yes, it was. It was a turnaround handoff to Kyle Manungai, and Kyle Manungai looked like he was about to get killed. If it wasn't training camp, he probably would have been in a bad spot. But the good side of that is Shamar Turner, quick off of the ball. I thought he looks good. I thought the defensive line created a ton of pressure. Now, again, you can't tell anything without these guys in pads, but the get off on the ball, I thought we saw some good get off on the ball early on. But there's no pads. There's nothing for the offensive lineman to grab onto. There's nothing to block. And they're going 3/4, if even at 3/4 speed. I mean, it might have been half speed, honestly. How was the movement on both lines? Any surprise players lining up out of position? I'll say on the offensive line, shout out Brandon Green. On the offensive line, I think there were quite a few surprise players lining up because they were mixing and matching the offensive line early on. So, of course, the number 1 guys were Darnell Wright, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, no fumble snaps today, so that was good. Drew Dahlman, Joe Tooney, and then Karan Amagaji got the first snap or first rep with the first team. And listen, I don't know if it's going to be the story of Karan Amagaji or not. I can't tell you. We'll see how the season plays out. Bro, he didn't move. That Hunt drop back, he never got up. By the time he did get up, his man's already behind him in the backfield on Caleb. Waddle kept going. I think he's did Tommy Waddle from Waddle and Sylvie, former Chicago Bears wide receiver. He kept going. He seems like he's limping. He seems like he's dealing with something. Maybe he was. Jordan McFadden technically got the first reps with the second team. And Jordan McFadden, I guess, looked better than Karan Amagaji, if you want to take anything out of it. Then Ozzie Trapilo kind of swapped in with the second team and swapped in with the third team as well. There was a ton of movement. You know what I mean? There was a ton of movement on the offensive line. There were moments where guys were, the second team was with the first team. Guys on the third team were with the first team. They're going through these scenarios where Caleb Williams is behind the second team offensive line, right? They're going through these scenarios of, well, if this guy's injured and you have to go into this situation, you still have to make plays. You don't get days off. So Listen, the only takeaway that I had was on that first rep, Karan looked horrible. After that, they got him out in the run, had a couple of nice reps there. I thought in the run game, he looked very smooth in the run game, but you don't know who's going to be the starting left tackle in a practice with no pads. You don't know how the offensive line truly looks. And I'll tell you this, you don't believe how the offensive line looks until you see the offensive line opening day of the season. Because remember, we were going through the preseason last year, and everybody was sitting there telling me, Pat, the offensive line looks amazing. And I was like, they look better. They're surprisingly good right now. No, they look great. We're set. You were so worried about that offensive line. And then we got to week 1. Don't believe nothing you see until you get to the season. Now, should the offensive line be better? Sure, 100%. Shout out Bulls Daily with the $5 super chat, man. Appreciate you showing love like that. Should they be better? 100%. But we'll see if they actually end up being better. I'm going to wait until the season is out there. 52 Hardy got some reps at linebacker today. I heard he did get some reps today at linebacker. They're trying him out at linebacker a little bit because of the size and the speed. Remember, I came to you guys and told you, it's going to be tough for Daniel Hardy to make this team as an edge rusher, where somewhere I thought that he would slot in on Fluce's team, right? Because he doesn't have the weight. I will say you did see Austin Booker make a couple of plays off of the edge, but again, right, no pads. But yeah, Daniel Hardy was lining up in the linebacker position some. He was lining up off of the edge some, and Daniel Hardy just finds a way into the backfield, finds a way to make plays. I think he might be instrumental in this running game. And so the big question for me is going to be, how can Dennis Allen find a way to utilize him that he feels comfortable with? But I do think Daniel Hardy will be on this team because of special teams no matter what. I do think there's a way to utilize him possibly as that off-ball linebacker if you're not using Ruben Hippolyte in some of those moments, right? Because he does have phenomenal speed. I think if you get him used to that instinct and you get him used to playing that position, it could be a spot where Hardy gets comfortable at. I hope so, because I definitely want to see him on this team. How did Javon look? Where before OTAs? He's slim. Did he seem quicker, more twitchy? He is not slim. I know everybody looked at that picture and was like, oh, he lost so much weight. Javon Dexter looked like a giant, bro. Javon Dexter's massive. Like, I don't know who started the Javon Dexter is slim, and Javon Dexter is huge. That boy looked like he's supposed to be playing nose. Or at least 3-tech. Don't let them Instagram pictures fool you, whoever took the angle on that pit, whatever it was. That boy looked like an absolute mammoth out there. And he looked like it in shorts and a t-shirt today. You saw Javon. Listen, was he quick off the ball? Yeah, he looks like he's comfortable at that 3 technique position now. He looks like he's comfortable being in a penetrating style system. I don't know where he's at right now in the process. It was early on. He didn't get in the backfield a ton. Shamar Turner got in the backfield. Grady Jarrett got in the backfield once, but he's a piece on that defensive line. If he's somebody that can eat up double teams, that opens things up for everybody else to go out there. So, but yeah, Javon Dexter, the one thing that I do know, he is not slim. do not mistake Javon Dexter for slim. Rod D, Pat, what about Caleb's deep ball? Have you seen it? Are they working on his accuracy? Like I said, that one pass I thought was phenomenal. It's really the only time you saw him push it down the field. A couple of times there was a pass where it had to be a touch pass. There was one to Roma Dunza on the right side, and I thought he made the right play on that. There was one to Devin Duvernay over the middle, and I thought he made the right play on that. Those are probably 15-yard passes, but nothing really deep all day outside of the one big pass that I thought should have been a catch. That should have been a great play by Caleb Williams, and they would have had it flooding your timelines. Doug Key said Javon, Dio, Sweat, and Booker is 4 dudes that ain't slim. Now, Austin Booker is slim. No. Austin Booker is slim. Don't. I didn't say that. I said Javon ain't slim. Austin Booker is skinny. Austin Booker looked like he could play basketball. But he did make a nice little move to get around the left side on that was against the 2s. Who was the 2 in there at right guard? Hold on, let me pull out my list here. I probably need to laminate this thing. It's alphabetical order. No, this is here we go. O-line. It was I believe it was Chris Glasser. 63 sounds right. I believe it was Chris Glasser. Got around him on the left side. On the left side. Left side of the defensive line, right side of the offensive line, and got in the backfield quickly. Yeah, I mean, he's got the speed, but he's got to be used in those moments if you're going to utilize him as that. He's never going to be somebody who can just eat up the blockers and force his way into that backfield. It has to be speed to get around. But yeah, man, listen, second day of rookie minicamp, I thought it was a good practice overall, and I thought we learned a heck of a lot more about the coaches and what their standards are than what we learned about, anybody's play on the field today. When you're a rookie, I'm trying to see if we got questions. When you're a rookie and all the teams blitz, it speeds up your mental clock and also causes some inaccuracy issues. Oh, listen, you're talking about Caleb Williams deep ball. If you protect him, he'll be better. Now, I will say this. I think the mindset, and I think this is something people don't talk about, the mindset before I get out of here of what Matt Eberflus was, and he had the same mindset with Justin Fields. Y'all remember this. Do not turn the football over. Do not take chances on passes. And get out of here with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and we'll win the game. How many of them games did we win, right? No interceptions, no fumbles, no turnovers. 200 was his number for Justin Fields, not for Caleb Williams. Maybe it was for Caleb. I don't know. But Caleb Williams last season, while that record was great of him not throwing interceptions, longest rookie streak, if he's successful, we won't remember the fact that he overthrew everybody in all those moments. He stopped taking chances on the deep balls, though. Remember in week 2, he tried to do a touch pass deep ball into Cole Kmet, and it ended up getting picked off to lose the game, right? We didn't see, and I don't even know if that was deep. That was probably intermediate pass. Touch pass, intermediate pass, rolling right, off one foot, threw it up. We didn't see Caleb Williams throw that ball again until week 15. After Thomas Brown had took over, then all of a sudden Caleb Williams was more willing to throw that football again. By the way, it was for a completion. We didn't see Caleb Williams. Remember, he threw that football to Roma Dunze on the left side. You may not remember. It was in the Colts game. Threw the football to Roma Dunze on the left side, bounced off his face mask, interception. We're going the other way. We didn't see him attempt that pass until Thomas Brown took over again. The mentality that was around Caleb Williams was don't take chances. That mentality does not exist here. This mentality is in your face. It's abrasive. It's up front. And Ben Johnson is shying away from no smoke, and he wants to see his young quarterback do the same thing. How do I know this? He trashed the tush push on the day that they didn't ban it and basically said it's a weak play call and it's not explosive. You play Philly this year. You play Philly this year. You think they're not going to have that mug on the board? So, like, those are the things for me where it's like, this is just a completely different situation. They're looking to be aggressive. They're looking to take chances. Mario Moore said, how was Antoine Randall out there? My mom used to babysit him. Our families were close during my childhood. Antoine was running around. There was one play, 20. I got to go to this. I'm not going to know half of these mugs names just off a rip, but I know them usually by the number. 26. Nope, that's a DB. Give me a second. He's a wide receiver. Number 20, Jahdae Walker. Number 20. Caleb Williams threw him a ball. he had a wide open look. He did end up catching the football, end up falling down and catching the ball. And Antoine Randall ran halfway across the field just to get on him and be like, hey, come on, man. Hey, you got to keep your feet. You had the end zone. Yeah, the end zone. Good catch. You caught the ball. Good catch. Gave him the praise. And it said, stay on your feet. You had the end zone. Nobody was behind you. So I like how Antoine has been coaching. So, 2 days in, you know what I mean? But even seeing him during rookie minicamp with the rookies, he wasn't letting anybody slide on anything. The philosophy of this coaching staff is very similar. The philosophy of this coaching staff is very similar within each other. Like they are all moving as a unit. They're all moving in unison. It feels like a football team. It really does. Who else do we got? As someone who resides in Philly and was listening to Philly Sports Talk Radio today, what happened? You just left me with a ... That's all they was talking about all day. Today was receipts they're keeping. Every team that voted versus the tush push today. Oh yeah. Is the tush push? I forget who was asking, but somebody just kept asking about the tush push. And I was like, who cares? When the tush push isn't a factor, and I know it's very hard to do, but when you stop the Eagles at 3rd and 5 and they go for it on 4th and 5 or 3rd and 5, if you don't let them get to 4th and 1, they can't run the tush push. Now, nobody's been able to successfully stop that, but that's on DC's to figure out. Like, what happened to I'ma just figure it out? The Packers care. That's facts. That's facts. Like, what happened to DC's going out there saying, okay, this is how that players run. All right, we can't get behind our guys and push, but we can do this. We can make this happen. Now, I do think defenses need to be set up, and it does need to be kind of hey, if you get to push, I get to push type situation. That's illegal on defense. But nobody cares. Why you care? Because the Eagles won. How often the Eagles been running the tush push? How many years have the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Like we acting like the Eagles out here running off 7 championships off the tush push. Come on, dog. Like that the tush push is so stupid to me. I love the one Eagles player that was like, I hope they ban it just because who came up with the name tush push? That's crazy. Bob Chimney, Colts owner just passed away. Is that facts? That's Jim Irsay, right? Did Jim Irsay just passed away? Jim Irsay dies at 65. That's crazy. Rest in peace to Jim Irsay. My God. I was not expecting that. Moment of silence for Jim Irsay. Thank you very much. Clap it up. Clap it up for Jim Irsay. Phenomenal owner. Phenomenal football legacy. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. That's a tough way to end the show. I was getting ready to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Prayers up to the Irsay family. Prayers up to the Colts family, everybody involved up there, man. Like that's absolutely nuts. We will be back tomorrow for the morning breeze. I'll be talking more with Jordan JC about some of the things that ended up happening at OTAs as well, getting his meaty take on it tomorrow. And we got excuse me. We have more football content, more Bears content coming you guys' way. NBA draft is coming up, so we'll probably start talking to some of the NBA players as well that the Bears could be, or the Bulls could be in on taking, start doing some mock draft breakdowns and different things like that. But yeah, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Good day for the Chicago Bears practice today. Very exciting day for the Chicago Bears practice today, and hope that we see more. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Bear down. One love. Peace.